Good morning. Welcome to Tribune News on Q, your go-to morning news source, only here at the Daily Tribune. We're now live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Daily Tribune PH on YouTube, and a Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. For today's headlines. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee has revised its report to recommend a further investigation rather than corruption charges against Senators Francis Chis Escudero, Jinggoy Estrada, and Joel Villanueva, following a majority bloc consensus. The Supreme Court ruled that same-sex partners who live together may be recognized as co-owners of property acquired during their relationship if actual financial contribution is proven, clarifying property rights under the Family Code. Malacanang said President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will prioritize abolishing the travel tax on outbound airline passengers alongside 20 key bills targeted for passage in the first half of the year. Former House Speaker Jose C. De Venencia Jr. has passed away at 89. Entering 2026, Philippine agriculture is in a stronger position after its highest growth performance in 8 years. At a press conference for Netflix Philippines, Ann Curtis revealed that her new series, Buy Bus the Undesirables, is emotionally draining and even more so physically. Decorated mentor Babes Castillo will take over the reins of the Alas Pilipinas girls, who will see action in the FIVB Volleyball Girls' Under-17 World Championship in Chile later this year. Today is the 11th of February 2026, Wednesday, and I'm Eliana Lacap, bringing you today's top stories. Let's kick things off with today's weather. Cloudy skies and light rains are expected over parts of Luzon and the Visayas due to the shear line and the northeast monsoon. Visayas, Albay, Sorsogon, Masbate, Surigao del Norte, and Dinagat Islands will see scattered rains and isolated thunderstorms, while Cagayan Valley, Cordillera, Bicol, Aurora, and Quezon will have light rains. Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon will experience isolated light rains. The rest of Mindanao will have partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rains, showers, or thunderstorms from localized weather systems. No low-pressure areas are being monitored. Now for a traffic update. Light traffic is reported at Balintawak Toll Plaza, approaching Mindanao Toll Plaza, Bocaue Toll Plaza, and San Fernando northbound and southbound lanes. Pulilan northbound entry and Pulilan southbound exit are temporarily closed for road enhancement works at Pulilan interchange from February 8th to February 13th. Motorists are advised to take alternate routes. All other areas of NLEX, Asotex, and NLEX connector, including toll plazas and interchanges, are experiencing light traffic conditions. Now let's move on to this morning's headlines. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee revised its report to recommend a further investigation, not immediate corruption charges against Senators Francis Chis Escudero, Jinggoy Estrada, and Joel Villanueva over alleged kickbacks from flood control projects. Chair Panfilo Lacson said the change reflects a majority bloc consensus and the panel's lack of authority to file charges, which rests with the DOJ and the Ombudsman. Estrada and Villanueva remain linked to alleged commissions. Meanwhile, Escudero and Martin Romualdez were excluded due to insufficient evidence, but will undergo further probe. The Supreme Court ruled that same-sex couples who live together may be treated as co-owners of property they acquire if actual financial contribution is proven, applying Article number 148 of the Family Code to partners who cannot legally marry. The decision stemmed from a dispute between two women over a Quezon City property, with the court recognizing a signed acknowledgement as proof of shared investment and reversing lower court rulings. The SC said broader protections must come from Congress, but clarified the legal basis for shared assets. Now, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has prioritized abolishing the travel tax on outbound airline passengers as part of 21 key legislative measures targeted for passage in the first half of the year, the Malacanang said. The proposal would repeal the 1977 law creating the tax with funding for affected agencies to be covered by the national budget. The travel tax currently charges most Filipino travelers up to 2,700 pesos. Tourism officials said they will follow the lawmakers' decision, while industry stakeholders urge a review or reduction instead of full abolition.
Good afternoon, Yusek. On the abolition of travel tax, ma'am, yung ibang tourism stakeholders naman natin, hindi naman pinupush na i-abolish totally because nakatutulong nga naman sa atin. But then, gusto lang nila mapababa. And at the same time, hinihingi lang nila sa TIEZA yung full report na kung saan nagamit ang mga travel tax na binayad ng ating mga turista. Ano po yung comment ng Malacan niyo?
Ang travel tax po ay ginagamit unang-una po ang 50% dito ay sa mga TIEZA tourism projects, infrastructure projects. Ang 40% naman po ay educational assistance at scholarship sa CHED. At ang 10% naman po ay para sa pag-promote ng culture and heritage po natin. Ito po ay sa tulong po at sa pagtulong sa National Commission in Culture and the Arts po.
Can the palace ask TIEZA, particularly the boss of TIEZA is Mark Lapid, to issue a full report on the tourism infra projects na naisagawa during his long tenure?
Ito naman po ay sumasa ilalim din po sa COA examination. So hindi lang po kinakailangan na orderan pa sila na magbigay ng kanilang report patungkol po dito dahil ang COA po ay tinitignan din po ang kanilang mga pagre-report.
Now, former House Speaker Jose Joe De Venecia Jr. has passed away, ending a political career that spanned over 6 decades. A 7-term lawmaker and the longest-serving speaker in post-war Congress, he authored landmark laws, including the Basis Conversion and Development Act and the Build, Operate, Transfer Law. De Venecia also played the key roles in peace agreements with the RAM-AFP-YOU and the Moro National Liberation Front. Colleagues and leaders remembered him as a statesman, peacemaker, and a mentor whose legacy continues to shape Philippine governance and diplomacy. Now, later, Representative Ferdinand Martin Romualdez urged Lacap's CMD members to unite in supporting President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s priority legislative agenda. He highlighted the importance of cross-party cooperation in the House under Speaker Faustino Boji D. III and coordination with House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos to ensure efficient passage of key bills. Romualdez emphasized that lawmakers should focus on legislation that delivers tangible benefits, promotes inclusive growth, and safeguards public welfare, translating the administration's priorities into meaningful results for Filipinos. The Philippine agriculture grew 3.1% in 2025, its highest in 8 years. Despite the 23 storms, the Department of Agriculture Secretary Francisco Churarel Jr. said. Growth was boosted by export rebounds, including bananas, avocados to Japan, and new durian markets, while domestic onion prices stabilized. Laurel highlighted ongoing reforms, increased 2026 budgets for farm infrastructure and long-term investments to make agriculture profitable and sustainable. He added that 400 to 500 billion pesos annually is needed to address structural weaknesses, rebuild institutions, and strengthen resilience, ensuring the sector remains a key driver of the economy. Now, Ann Curtis returns in Netflix Philippines' Buy Bust the Undesirables, a 9-episode action series continuing her role as Nina Manigan from Buy Bust. Curtis spent 2 years training, including Filipino martial arts, to deliver authentic fight scenes. The series follows Nina teaming up with a corporate outcast to take down a ruthless drug lord after a senator's daughter is killed. Gerald Anderson joins in a pivotal role, while Indonesian filmmaker Joko Anwar also appears, promising high-stakes action, intense drama, and jaw-dropping stunts. Babes Castillo has been named a head coach of the Alas Pilipinas girls' U17 volleyball team as they prepare for their debut in FIVB U17 World Championship in Chile from 5 to 15th of August. Approved by the PNVF board, Castillo will start in May and lead 3 months of intensive training. An inter-secondary U18 tournament running February to May will help scout a new talent to strengthen the roster. The squad secured its World Championship berth after finishing 5th in the second AVC Asian Women's U16 Championship last November in Jordan. Now a quick look at today's horoscope. Today calls for curiosity and connection, Aries. Your rebellious streak may surface, and engaging in stimulating conversation with your partner can feed your mind and soul. A bizarre twist of events might bring an unexpected investment opportunity, and you may come up with some wild creative ideas. Embrace today's surprises and use your energy to explore new possibilities with enthusiasm and boldness. Now, Katribo, did you know that on February 11, 1990, Nelson Mandela was released from prison after 27 years, marking a turning point in the fight against apartheid in South Africa? A lawyer and leader of the African National Congress, Mandela spent 18 years in the harsh conditions of Robben Island prison before being moved under house arrest. His release, ordered by President F.W. de Klerk, paved the way for negotiations to end apartheid. In 1994, Mandela became South Africa's first black president, later sharing the 1993 Nobel Peace Prize with de Klerk, and continued advocating for peace and justice until his death in 2013. Now, this morning's viral story comes from a TikTok video that has racked up 1.2 million views, and it might just make you do a double take. Have you ever seen an e-bike Simulink drive itself? Let's watch this.
Diyan ka sa gitna, tapos salubungin mo yung bagyo. Diba? Papunta lang ang puta. Papunta pa lang. Ang sabi na yung tulog. Ano ba yan?
And that's all for now, mga katribo. Join us again at 1 o'clock p.m. for more updates. This has been Eliana Lacap for Tribune News on Q.